Disclaimer.
Oh, boy.
In the upcoming episode, we have Jackie Cao on, and I just wanted to make an announcement because this episode is going live, but our real episode won't be coming until next week.
Yes.
So, tomorrow night, February 7th, is
Mega.
It's our monthly Epic Guild activity, and it is our yearly SEMA San Diego. So I've partnered up with fellow guildie Lucy, and we are going to be hiding SEMA on a planet that I'm not telling you what it is. So you're going to have to come tomorrow to
Mega,
which is at 9 p.m. Eastern, which is the real world time. We will be on the Imperial side. If you'd like more info, go to aie-guild.org, get the Discord information, pop into the SOTOR channel, and say, hey, I want to be a part of
Mega.
And we'll make sure we get you in there. We're going to have some trivia. We're going to be searching for some stuff. You're going to find SEMA. I promise if you win, you will die. And come win some sweet
SOTOR stuff.
Prizes.
Enjoy the rest of the episode.
Let's do this. Hey, I'm Marcus.
And I'm Nick.
We are Working Class Nerds.
Cue the intro. That's right. We are Working Class Nerds, the podcast that gives you no information about your favorite information.
Today is February 6, 2020, and you can find this special episode podcast on Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher. You can find the both of us on Twitter. I am at MarcusB814.
And I am at Nick Vern, that's Nickvern. In this week's episode, we get a chance to sit down with Jackie Cao. Jackie works as a game developer, most recently with Star Wars The Old Republic from Bioware, and is also a fellow Yukon Husky.
Nick is so excited because at the cantina, I could hear like Husky fever going on during the cantina event.
So, first of all, thanks for coming on the show. And what have you been up to for the last couple of weeks?
Well, this past Monday was my last day at Bioware.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do now?
So my next adventure is I'll be doing game design at Gearbox.
Woo woo!
Wow.
Their flagship title is the Borderlands series, correct?
Yes.
And they've done a bunch of other awesome games. Subnautica was one of their indie hits that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, they have a big publishing arm that they publish a lot of really neat, interesting indie games. Risk of Rain 2, that's one of my personal favorites.
Right. They did a bunch of stuff. So that's pretty cool that you get to jump from one big game studio to another. Like career-wise, anyway.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. It does involve a move up to Dallas, so this whole week has been busy packing and getting ready for the move and all that fun adulting stuff.
Right.
So you're going from the party capital of Texas to the gun capital of Texas.
Different kind of party.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. On 4th of July, they just no fireworks. They just shoot guns in the air. Well, I guess, what was your main job at Bioware? Game design as well?
Yeah, so at Bioware was game design, specifically world design. So I didn't touch any of the systems. I was doing all content.
Okay.
I started off doing flashpoints, so mostly encounter stuff, enemy spawning, a little bit of quest scripting as well.
What does that mean? What was that last thing?
Quest scripting, so I'm the one designing the quest, like what are you doing in each one?
Wow.
What are the different steps? What are the different places you go to? Basically every piece of the quest.
Huh. And if in the last big thing you worked on was the Meridian Flashpoint, right?
Yes.
Because I remember talking to you guys about that at the cantina. Well, it was really fun to do, and I think the final fight was really fun. And I haven't done it yet.
Which side?
Is there any other side but the imp side?
I'm pretty proud of the Malgus fight. If you haven't tried that one yet.
I have not, because okay, I have this like little vendetta.
Hmm.
I just don't like the pub side. I think the moves are. It's like I want to kill stuff. I don't want to like befriend them.
Hmm.
Like, well, you want to kill something, not just make it faint like in Pokemon.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Well, don't get on Pokemon because I'm actually enjoying it right now. But anyway, so and now, what other worlds in SOTOR did you design or work on?
So of the flashpoints, I worked a little bit on Umbara. I did the bonus boss for that,
Oh,
the Alpha Slybex. I don't know if you guys have
wait.
encountered that or not.
Mhm.
Yeah, many, many, many deaths.
It is meant to be a little harder.
Yeah. Well, and then when was it? When it first came out on Master Mode, it was tough. And
Mhm.
then as the gear progression happened, I think it was like you got 248 gear.
Yeah.
And it started to get a little easier. But it was definitely interesting those first few times.
So that is actually the first thing I ever worked on SWTOR.
Really?
Yeah, that fight.
How long were you at BioWare?
3 years about, a little under 3 years.
So I guess the real question is Matt Pusevich work day and night constantly? Does that guy ever take a break?
I think Matt is a robot. I think he only stops to recharge. That guy's a very hard worker. Probably one of the hardest workers I've ever seen.
Wow. Well, I can imagine him and Camera
Yeah.
too.
Right.
Yeah.
And so did you go right from UConn to BioWare?
No, so the path I took was I did UConn for my bachelor's degree. Went to University of Utah for my master's degree in game dev. Started working in. I did an internship there for about a year at an indie studio. Went over to EA Salt Lake, which was a mobile studio, and then after that came over to BioWare.
Wow. That's how do you go from Utah? Wait, how do you go from UConn to Utah
Well,
to Texas?
You might not realize Yukon is pretty rural. Like there's Yukon and then nothing around it.
Oh, there's nothing around it.
Yeah, it's like the whole town that it's in stores is literally probably just Yukon with like 2 or 3 streets of housing.
And a bunch of basically the rest of it is just woods.
Yeah, and then farms.
Mm-hmm.
And so like it's like Stores dash Mansfield because Mansfield's like a real town, but Stores is basically just Yukon, which is pretty interesting. And then outside of that, it's all just farmland. There's not a lot of stuff besides what's right there.
Are you from originally the Northeast?
Yes, I am from Connecticut.
Oh, no way.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
West
wow.
Hartford.
Whoa, I was just working down there.
Yeah,
That's funny.
Marcus just did what cabinets down there?
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's-
So
Go ahead.
I was gonna say while we're on the topic of Yukon, we can get through a couple. I have a few Yukon questions for you if you want.
Oh yeah, of course. I
Nick
love
has been
reminiscing about the days.
Yeah, so Nick has been texting me for about a week and a half about the Yukon stuff because he's so excited. Because he tells me about the Yukon stuff, and I actually have no idea what he's talking about, except the club sports stuff.
Right. So I think I asked you some of this at the cantina, but so were you a Ted's guy or more of a Huskies guy? What was your favorite watering hole back in the day?
Where did
This
I
is
go to more?
Or actually, probably when you were there, Thirsties was still there too. I think.
Thirsties, yeah. I would say Thirsties is where we went to the most, I think.
Yeah, that was definitely most popular.
Nickel Night?
Yes, Nickel at
wait,
Thirsties.
wait, what is Nickel Night?
So,
Let's do this.
so Nickel Night is when is discounted drink night. Basically, when there's a period of time, it's like an hour and a half, where you can get 4 mixed drinks for $1.
Oh,
And everyone gets, but you have to buy them in. Like everyone gets 1 cup, and that's your nickel cup. And then when you walk in the door, and then you have to buy drinks in groups of 4. But like they're 25 cents each, so obviously it's
you're buying 4 at a time.
4 at a time. But yes, you go with 3 friends. You make multiples of 4, and then you just buy drinks. Like somebody will buy. You take turns buying a round essentially because a round's only $1, which gets out of hand very quickly, as you can imagine.
Wait, so Thirsties gone now?
Thirsties. So the original Huskies building got condemned. Thirsties closed for I don't know what happened to it, and Huskies is now in the old Thirsties location.
Huh. Okay.
And next door to Thirsties, where Thirsties used to be, which is now Huskies, Huskies opened up a more laid-back bar called Huskies Tavern, just commonly referred to as the Tavern.
Interesting. It's been a solid 6 years since I've been back, so
yeah, that's all
things have
happened within the
changed.
past couple years, I want to say. So
Wow.
not too much. So basically, Thirsties is still the spot, but it's just called Huskies now.
Okay.
It's owned by the same people. But were you in any clubs when you were there?
Yeah, I was on the. I was doing the Taekwondo club sports,
Very nice.
so that was my main club.
Yeah, so you could totally whoop my ass.
Oh, both of us.
Uh, maybe not anymore. Like I said, it's been 6 years since college.
That's fair.
So you haven't kept up with it?
Nah, I picked
I've
up other
gotcha.
martial arts in this time, just to stay in shape, get me away from the computer screen.
What are you doing now for martial arts?
Mostly boxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Very
Whoa.
cool.
Good for you.
I always wanted to take a BJJ.
It's fun. It's a nice little. I call it low impact because it's pretty easy on the joints if you're doing it right.
Right. I get what you mean. If you're
Yeah.
not like doing
I
it competitively to choke some.
yeah, I was just gonna
yeah,
say I have
rip
no
some-
desire to get choked out.
Yeah.
0.
You get choked out for like a second and then you tap out and then
Mhm.
you reset
Yeah.
and you learn, hey, don't do that again.
Well,
If you don't tap, then your joints gonna get destroyed. So it's like
Right.
if you do it right, it's low impact. If you don't, it's probably not too
Yeah.
good for you.
Yeah, just if you find yourself in a heel hook or something, tap very quickly.
Yep.
That's a move, right?
Yeah, it
Okay.
is.
Okay.
well, speaking of the Northeast, so up here we get snow all the time.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I just saw, I don't know if it's where you are in Texas. I saw Texas had snow.
Yeah, we had it last night.
Okay. Did you wake up and go, oh, this is awesome? And you're like, or did you wake up and go, no, it can't follow me here?
So I like the snow, so I woke up. I was like, yes, snow. I got a dog within the last year, and I don't think she's seen snow yet, so I took her out to go see it.
Oh, that's cool. That's always
Yeah.
fun.
She didn't really care for it.
Me personally, anytime it snows up here, I just have this sense of existential dread because I absolutely hate snow. But
Yeah. And I hate shoveling.
I hate that's
Snow's
why I
fun
hate
for a
it.
little bit.
Yeah.
It's like every year between whenever the first snow and Christmas, it's pretty nice. And after that,
Yeah.
you just get tired of it. You're like, oh, shit, I got 3 more months of this, 4 more months
Exactly.
sometimes.
Yeah, it's not so much the snow itself. That's fine, but
Mhm.
having to deal with it, the shoveling, salt, whatever, having to prepare before you can go anywhere is a pain.
I get reminded of times at UConn when you have to walk to class through the snow.
Oh, exactly, because they never canceled class.
Nope.
So speaking of UConn and walking to class, did you ever step on the seal?
I did not. All my classes were on the other side of campus.
Oh, okay. So wait,
Yeah.
so what do you mean? Where did you live versus where your classes were?
So I've lived in Shippey, West, South, and McMahon,
Okay.
and my classes were in the business school or
Oh, so you never even had to cross Fairfield Way. They're
Nope.
all on that side of campus.
Yep.
Oh, so okay. So what I'm talking about is in the middle of campus, there's this big strip called Fairfield Way, and it's a cobblestone path, and that's where a lot of stuff is. So in the middle of it, right in front of the library, is this giant seal with UConn's like emblem on it, and the old wives' tales go that if you step on the seal before you graduate, while you're walking to class or walking to the library, you will not graduate because it's like bad luck to step on the seal. So I was gonna make a joke like, if you did end up stepping on it, how did you manage to reverse all that bad luck and graduate? But Jackie's classes were all on, and his dorms were all on the one side of that, so he never had to cross Fairfield Way, which makes sense.
Mm.
It's
Yeah, that whole side of the campus is pretty foreign to me.
I getcha. I lived in South and Alumni, and Hilltop Apartments, but all my classes were in this, biological science building, so I had to go all the way to the other end all the time.
Ooh, that's rough.
But anyways, so you went to UConn when they still had the old fluffy white husky logo. What do you think of the new one that's a lot more angry looking?
I miss the old one. It was so adorable.
Right. Now, see, like, I get it for athletics. This is a much more, like, serious logo. Before
Right,
it's like,
right.
aw, look at the dog. Now it's like, oh, shit, this wolf's going to mess you up. What?
Okay, so I didn't go to college,
Yeah.
right? But you guys are out of college. Who cares about the logo?
Oh, right. No one, ultimately, it doesn't matter, but,
Yeah,
But
when they switched the logo, people cared for like a month, and then everyone forgot about it.
right.
It's just funny to me because you guys are talking about this stuff, and I'm just like, what the?
This
hell
is
are you
nothing
talking
you would
about?
have ever thought about.
No, never, ever.
Right. All right. So last and most important question. Wait, actually, what do you think of the new logo?
I do agree with what you said. I think it's good for athletics, and incorporates a little more color into it. So I guess we have more options in apparel.
Yeah, instead of just white.
Yeah. Now you get a little
Or-
blue, a little bit of red as well.
Right. I think the red accents are
I
pretty
think it also
sweet.
looks more like a husky. The other one did not look like a husky. It was just like all white.
Yeah. What's like the Shiba Inu or whatever, the
Like
fluffy
a
white
Samoyed,
Japanese?
the
Yes,
cloud
Samoyed.
dogs.
That's what I'm thinking of. It looked more like a Samoyed.
Yeah,
Did you get a husky dog?
I did not.
What
I
kind of
feel
dog did
terrible
you get?
having one here in Texas. Oh, I have
Yeah,
it's like a Chow Lab mix, Chabador.
Chabador. I'll be
Yeah.
Googling that
Yeah,
one.
we will definitely be googling that. Okay, so my first question for you, video game related, is what was the first video game you ever played, and did that help influence your future in gaming?
The first game I ever played was Contra back on the NES.
Up, up, down,
Wow.
down.
Yeah.
Yep. I played that with my dad. We play co-op every single time. I never played it alone. I think that
Wow.
had a huge impact on my gaming because my favorite games to play are co-op PvE games, whether couch co-op or online.
Wow.
So
I
yeah,
like co-op a lot too.
I think it's left a lasting impression on me.
What was your favorite console as a kid? Like growing up, what was one that stuck out as like, or I guess platform that you played on a lot?
PlayStation.
PS1?
Yeah, PS1. That was my first console that was my own. Before that, I was using my dad's, his Nintendos and stuff.
Sure.
So PS1 was my first one on my own, and then from there, I've just been a PlayStation gamer ever since. Besides PC, but yeah, when it comes to console.
He just broke Marcus's heart.
I'm so disappointed.
He's
See, here's the
Xboxer
thing though:
guy.
it's everything on Xbox is on PC, so I don't need both.
Well, as I agree and I don't, because a lot of the Xbox 360 games did not come out for the PC.
That's true.
You know what I mean? And the Xbox One, I would say a few of them did, but you still have some of the games that just won't come out on the Xbox. I just personally, I think the PlayStation's fine. I just think the controller sucks. The Xbox controller is a way better fitting controller. The whole analog stick, like in the bottom,
Yeah.
is terrible. Now at PAX East, what was that controller called? The Astro A40. It was a PlayStation controller
Yes.
that I bought.
Astro something.
Yeah,
It's made by Astro.
Yeah, and you could move the analog stick to it is for the Xbox.
Yep.
Change the game for a PlayStation controller.
That's the only controller I use for the PlayStation. Still.
Right.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
you imagine going back?
No, I'd actually. So, yeah, I did a little bit to show my dad how to play some games when he was showing him how to play Call of Duty and stuff.
Right.
And I grabbed the regular controller. I was like, I was like appalled. Like, this is so terrible by comparison. But
What was your favorite game on the PlayStation 1?
Crash Team Racing.
Wow. That was, it's like you knew that question was coming. See, for
I've
me,
been asked that so many times. Crash Team Racing was hours and hours of my childhood with after school, friends coming over, eat some Doritos and drink some Mountain Dew and play some Crash Team Racing.
yeah.
sounds perfect.
Yep.
For me, it was Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Yeah.
Hours and hours and hours of that game.
That makes sense.
Endless hours.
Go ahead. So we know what you were playing as a kid, but what are you currently playing?
So I was playing Death Stranding up until last night. I finished it last night.
Whoa. Okay. Are you on the hype train or are you not?
I like
didn't
it.
play
I think it's really good. I went to the game not hyped. I was like, how good can a walking simulator basically be, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was pleasantly surprised. It was super engaging. I was actually really entertained by finding out different ways to deliver stuff and traverse the world.
It got terrible reviews.
Did
So
it though?
don't. Yeah, like 7s.
I don't know. I haven't seen 8s, 9s.
Oh, see, I didn't see that. Maybe I
It is.
just.
I have read it. It is polarizing, right? It's one of those like either you love it or you don't kind of games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um,
That's kind of what I took from it. Like either people really love it or people
Mhm.
don't, and then so the reviews ended up sort of in between.
yeah.
I also feel like your review of a game is different than ours because you make games. So you see things and notice maybe the mechanics of the games that we don't notice because we just play them, you make them.
Right.
Mhm.
And maybe for me, I can't see myself enjoying Death Stranding at all. I just feel like
It's too like artsy for you, kind of.
I just feel like I would just be bored just running aimlessly through,
Yeah.
carrying a bunch of
Answer
packs
the
on my
question.
back.
Do you like playing Minecraft or any kind of games like that?
Minecraft, I was on a kick for, oh man, at
months.
least 10 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I did enjoy it, but I didn't enjoy it to the point, I like just the story mode where I would just dig and like find stuff and then have to hide at night because there's monsters. I never did the creator mode because that just did nothing for me.
Okay. Because I've playing the game, I was like, huh, I think people who like Minecraft would like this because a lot of it is just building things, right? Like building zip lines that can get you across the map quickly, building highways, building roads. A lot of it is like planning on, oh, where should I build these things so I can travel around the map more efficiently and stuff. But the coolest part of the game is it makes you want to build things for other players, even though you never see other players. It makes you feel connected to them. It makes you want to help them.
How so?
Yeah, I don't know anything about what you just said.
So it's definitely one of those games where you have to play it to like experience it. But when you're just traveling around the world, you'll see structures other players have built, and they're really helpful to you. And after you use enough of those, you're like, man, everyone's stuff is helping me out a lot. Maybe I should give back a little bit and build some stuff that helps other people out too.
So like it's so you'll see structures from that other people have made, like those zip lines that you were referring to and things like that.
Yep.
But you never see the people because you're in your own. But the structures will populate, but they won't.
Yes, exactly.
So
That's
basically,
interesting.
it's a living game, but when you're playing it solo.
Yeah. But you can go to like a armory or a locker. You go to a locker and then people donate equipment that you can just grab from the locker and use.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Or if you're
So-
making a delivery and you drop all your stuff, after a certain amount of time, that stuff is available for grabs for anyone, and those people complete the deliveries for you. So it says what your destination was. They'll pick it up, drop it off, and then you'll get credit for it.
So it's it's a moddable game essentially
That's cool.
because other players can modify the game that you're playing. I've never
Essentially,
heard
yeah.
of that.
Yeah, it's
So it's
very unique. It's very different.
It's an MMO without the MMO.
Yeah, basically, you are in a persistent world with tons of players, and you never see a single soul.
Huh.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm blown. I'm gonna actually read more about this because
Yeah.
I did not know that was a thing.
Like I said, I went in with zero expectations. So I was like, you know what? I've heard some stuff. I heard some great stuff, not so great stuff. Let me just try it out and see for myself. And I got hooked.
Huh.
So how difficult is it for you to play games outside of work because you work with them so intimately as your job? It sounds like not overly, but I guess how does working so intimately with games affect how you play?
Um, so I've talked to some fellow developers about this. Some people struggle with playing games and analyzing them too much while they're playing. For me, it's pretty easy. Just kind of click a switch when I get home from work and just go and enjoy things. I can sit down, I'll play a game, just as a consumer, just to enjoy it. But then my developer side will kick in after I finish the game. Okay, I had fun. I enjoyed these things about it. Then I start analyzing why. But I always do that after I finish, not while I'm playing.
Well, that's some healthy like
Yeah,
compartmentalization.
and it helps too because after you finish the game, you think about because as game designers, we're trying to, generate emotions for players, certain feelings and experiences.
Oh
So
yeah.
after I finish, I think about my own experiences, feelings, and whatnot, and then I start picking out what are the things they did to make me feel these things.
Hmm.
It's easier to do when you finish the game instead of while you're playing.
That makes sense. Let yourself sort of be the consumer
Yeah,
in the moment. Yeah.
exactly. Because you're building games for other players, not developers.
Right.
That's a
Or-
really special quality, Jackie, because I build cabinets for a living
Mhm.
and I'm a finished carpenter by trade. When I get out of work, the last thing I want to do is more work. I mean, I end up doing it because it's my own house, but I when I'm done, like working for the day or the night, the last thing I want to do is turn on HGTV and watch some bullshit TV show about home improvement with my wife. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Right.
So it's actually I would say in the world of a career, you probably have a gift to be able to shut that off
Yeah. Like
because I know I couldn't.
for
or I
me,
can't.
I have a tough time with that. With like, this might not be the same exact comparison, but like medical things in movies or TV shows, they always screw it up, and like I can't help but notice it, and it always takes me out of like the film. You know what I mean?
That's the same exact thing we're saying.
Yeah,
That's the exact same thing, but Jackie has the superpowers.
I know.
Yeah, I guess
Super
I'm,
Jackie.
I'm blessed in that department.
All
I've
right,
talked to other developers who are like, I struggle with not be able to turn that switch off while playing games.
yeah, I can understand why they would have trouble with that for sure.
If you had to pick your favorite game of all time, could you pick one or maybe your top three?
I could pick 3. Single player, multiplayer, doesn't matter.
Open ended.
Yeah, open-ended. It's your favorite games.
Horizon Zero Dawn is one of them.
Wow.
I never played that.
I played a little bit of it, but I need to go back and finish it.
It's one of those like you have to like play it straight through. It's hard
Yes.
to hop in time to time.
Yeah, I'm gonna just restart it and go back because I started playing it while I was playing Fallout 4, and Fallout 4 took over my time big time.
Okay.
So I'll have to just go through 100%. So besides Horizon,
Let's see. League of Legends.
Wow.
for your multiplayer experience.
Yeah, that's to scratch that competitive itch.
Mm-hmm. Any others pop into your
Dishonored.
head? Dishonored is very good too.
Yep.
Did you like the second one?
Yeah, I thought the second one was pretty cool. I liked how you could play as 2 different characters and they each play differently.
Me too.
Out
I enjoyed both of those.
of all the people that have ever been on the show, those 3 have never made it onto their lists.
Really?
Never.
Yeah, Dishonored, I feel like kind of flies under the radar. Those are both really good games. At least like in terms of my circle that I interact with, you know.
Dishonored is definitely, I think, underrated game, or
at least
not as many people underexposed game.
Yeah, I agree. Those are great choices. I like I like a lot of Bethesda's IPs, but so I'm a little partial there. But
Fallout's also a big one for me.
yeah, Fallouts are probably my favorite series of all time.
Yeah,
that's my numero uno. So what's your favorite Fallout game? That's the question for me.
I want to say New Vegas.
That's my favorite as well.
It's just so wacky and just enough off the chains for it to be really different and interesting.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And I like how much extra role playing elements there are in it compared to 4. Like if 4 had like I loved the karma system, and especially with the different factions. How you could like gain or lose like reputation with them. That was great. Plus all of the, I liked having the individual skills that you could put points into. That you don't really see that too much in 4. So if I could combine that system in 4, then I think I would prefer 4. But I like a lot of New Vegas a lot too.
Yeah,
So
I did enjoy 4 a lot too. 4, I loved the building in 4. That was fun.
Yes, if I could piecemeal certain elements of New Vegas in 4, I think you could make like the perfect Fallout. But I liked the building a lot, and I liked how you could customize your guns and armors and stuff.
Yeah, the mod system
in 4.
Fallout was never for me.
Yeah,
the VAT system ruined. So if you're gonna play a first-person shooter that's like an RPG, like I know I'm gonna say Destiny and Borderlands or something like that is completely different. But for me, the whole if I shoot you in the head twice, you're dead. Not pull up the VAT system, zoom in on a head, shoot it 3 times, and the guy's still not dead, and then your gun breaks. It's not enjoyable for anybody. Nobody wants that mechanic.
I will say the gun mechanic was a little frustrating. The gun breaking, I should say.
Yeah, that part was annoying. I'd actually, on that list, I would put Destiny as my number 4.
Destiny 1 or 2?
I'm gonna say 1.
All right, so now here I can get into this. Destiny 1, when it first came out, so Borderlands, hey, your new employer, yeah. Your new employer, they came out with, I remember Borderlands 1 and 2. That game was unbelievable, and it almost forced you to be co-op with people. And then Destiny came out, and it swept the world, and the game wasn't great in the beginning. At the end of D1, it was everything you could ever ask for in a, I'm going to say an MMO, a new I call that New World MMO.
Oh yeah,
And
I would totally agree.
you know, and it for like I had friends who invested time like people did back in the day when World of Warcraft was first out. You know, I would say, hey, we were playing competitive paintball at that time.
Right.
Hey, are you coming to play? I can't. I have a raid at this time, and I'm trying to get. I forget what the gear number was, and I'm like, man, but we need you on the team. We're only have 6, and he's like, sorry, man. I need the best gear, and it swept the world. I remember it,
Yeah.
and I played it, and I was like, man, this is not as good as Borderlands. And I don't know why it took over, but maybe because it was Halo, but a new way of Halo.
Yeah, could be. It just scratched that MMO itch for people that sort of bridge the gap between first-person shooters and like that MMO
Right.
community thing.
Everybody wanted it. But moving on. Some SOTOR stuff, and this is mostly for me. What was your favorite class to play in SOTOR?
Agent, sniper specifically.
I was so hoping you were going to say Marauder.
Well, you want everything to do with Marauders.
Of course.
Yeah, I mainly played Virulent Sniper.
That's it? You never switched up?
I did marksman every now and then.
Well, did you play the game outside of work, or was that where you could disconnect yourself from, you know, being able to play Death Stranding or Horizon Zero Dawn or League of Legends, where your job was SOTOR, and when you got out of work, you played your other games?
Yeah, it was basically, we also have allotted playtime at work while we're at work. Every week we get a certain number of hours so that we should all be playing the game and stuff. So yeah, it's basically SWTOR I would play while I was work, and then when I come home I'd play non-SWTOR things. There are certain occasions where friends of mine that do play SWTOR are like, hey, we want to come, play this piece of content you made, and you want to run it with us.
Then you'd hop in your character and play.
Yeah, I would play. I would say nothing. I'll let them figure things out.
Well, of course, I think that's fair because you don't want to tell them how to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
What was your favorite part about working at Bioware?
The people. SWTOR specifically, because I haven't worked any other projects at Bioware. So SWTOR specifically, everyone was so passionate about Star Wars and the project. Everyone's passionate about MMOs. Even if they don't currently play MMOs, a lot of them were hardcore WoW guys or Ultima or EverQuest guys back in the day.
Right. Whenever you asked Musco something, did he always answer, "That's a great question"?
I think that's the public Musco answer.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But I do get that on occasion, but I think he actually, for us, he actually means, man, that is a really good question.
Yeah. I guess. Maybe. All right. What was the one thing you didn't like about working at Bioware?
I think less of because Bioware's part of EA and EA is this very large, corporate company. A lot of times the decisions from higher ups took a little bit of time to trickle down to us.
Can you elaborate or give an example?
Without,
Yeah, if we were wondering about what the next, what we were doing the following quarter or next steps for the studio, sometimes it'd take a little longer than we would have liked to hear about that.
Sure.
We would find out maybe quarterly updates, which means 3 or 4 months before we hear anything.
Right. And what was your favorite project you got to work on?
Specifically on SWTOR?
Yeah.
It was either OSIS or Anathema Flashpoint.
Oh my God. Can we just talk about that final fight?
On Anathema?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I remember the first time we were doing it, and we mostly only do it in Master Mode.
Mm-hmm.
And so you beat the first, the Gemini droid, and then you're like, okay, we won. And then all of a sudden Zerg or whatever his name is, Zildrog, comes in, and you start doing that fight, and then right at the end, the goddamn ring around the computer system is electrified. Well, as a melee class, there's really only one place you can stand where you don't die and be able to hit the thing. So thanks for that.
Oh, no problem.
Will you?
That was mainly there because there are certain like visual issues that arose when you stood on top of Zildrog. We're like, oh, we can't have players stand on top of him, so we had to do that.
Oh, you had to make it electrified.
Yeah.
So, what like the Nick? Have you ever seen the movie Lawnmower Man?
No.
Picture like a hologram of a face.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what you see.
Yeah.
As you're killing the boss. So I'm guessing. So if you stood in it, it would have messed it all up. Like the engine couldn't handle it or something.
Yeah, it was more like it couldn't read the hitbox if you were in the hitbox.
I
see. So you had to be
some
like
weirdness.
Yeah, that is weird. Did you find it tough to work with the engine because it's so old in comparison to something new, or was it like something of 2020, putting in like a command or whatever could be really easy, but because you're working on an engine that maybe not be up to date, does it make it harder to make a game?
A little bit. Like every engine has its pros and cons. Some engines are considered better than others, like Unreal 4, right? It's supposed to be like the best out there. Unity, all that. But yeah, there's pros and cons of this engine. Some things was really easy to do, way easier than other engines I've seen. Other things were harder. It just depends how much time we had to customize certain parts of the engine.
That makes sense.
And if there was one thing that you had an idea to do in SOTOR that got shot down, what was it?
That you could wish
that you really your
Yeah.
wish list. What was the one wish list thing you wanted to do but you couldn't?
Something I really wanted to do. For a while, I really wanted to do. Have you guys played Guild Wars 2?
Yep.
I wanted to do world bosses of like Guild Wars 2 scale.
Wow. Or it's just open.
Yeah, just open. You got a buttload of players is all grouping up to fight against it.
Huh. That would have been really sweet.
Of course, some giant epic monster to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's one of my wish list things. Operations scaling. So if we have 12, it'll scale to 12 instead of 16.
Yeah.
Because
right now it's just a hard 8 or 16.
Correct. And that would, some nights, you might have 12 people that, you have your 8-person team that runs every week, but then you have your
more casual folks that hop in.
The other thing I would want to do is to put players in an instance without having to move them to a specific place, kind of like what WoW does as well. So players can be standing in the same spot and just be put in a different instance.
Okay, so how come? See, I don't understand the back end. How come that happens when you switch instances? It takes you back to the beginning, or to a quick travel point.
This is how the tech with the checkpoints and everything work. Just to make sure the instance is set up properly for you. Sometimes it has to be reset.
Oh,
so you don't come in halfway through and there's some weird stuff happening. It's because it's hard to keep track of what you've done in the current instance, and if you switch instances, it will have to reset the whole thing for you.
Oh, like which enemies you've killed, where they've dropped, things like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's a lot of data to keep track of, I guess.
There's a lot of back-end quest stuff as well.
Sure. Okay, last question. Are we getting a baby Yoda in SOTOR?
I've been asking the same question at work. We're like, hey, baby Yoda?
So, baby Yoda coming in or what?
Yeah.
I'm crossing my fingers just like you guys are.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, thanks so much for coming on the show, Jackie.
Yeah, no problem.
We're really happy you could come on, and hopefully we can game together sometime.
Yeah, for sure. If you guys want to hop on that Borderlands, or if you're playing Destiny 2, that's probably my main multiplayer fix nowadays is Destiny 2.
All right. I'll definitely. Well, I play it on my PC. Do you know if it's the same server for the PC that it is the PlayStation, or do you play it on the PlayStation?
I play on PC also.
Is it the same server?
It is not, but you can cross save. So they'll copy your character's data over to the PlayStation servers, and then you can play on there. But it's not the shared server, so you're not going to be, queuing up in Crucible against PlayStation players.
Well, that's something that Call of Duty just did. That is pretty interesting because Nick plays on the PlayStation and I'm on the PC, and it actually allows us to play together, which is really sweet. I mean, him with a PlayStation obviously has a little disadvantage
Right.
because keyboard and mouse will always be better than a controller.
Of course. Yep.
Yep.
But it is an interesting thought.
I think games nowadays are trying to make up for that with auto aim on controllers. It'll detect a good controller plugged in, and it will give you aim assist versus if you're on keyboard and mouse, you don't.
I think that's what Call of Duty does.
Yeah, I know that's what Destiny does. If you plug in the controller on the PC and you're playing, you get some aim assist.
I have noticed that for sure,
Huh.
which is a little interesting.
Yeah. Same
It's
with
like what-
any. I think Fortnite also does that. If you're playing with a controller on PC, there's some aim assist, and they have cross-platform too. So that's how developers are trying to balance things nowadays. Is with that.
That makes sense, because you'd have to do something. Otherwise, the keyboard and mouse would just destroy all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, hey, thanks again, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
no-
know you
no
got to go.
problem.
We know you got to go pack up the house.
Yeah, getting ready to make the big move, buying
man,
a house
well-
for the first time.
Well, you're buying a house?
Yeah,
Wow, congratulations. That's a
Thank you.
big commitment.
it is. But rent in that area was the same as a mortgage, so I was like, why not just buy?
Really?
Mhm.
So are you actually going to be in the city limits of Dallas?
No, I'll be Gearbox is up in Frisco, so it's a suburb north of it.
Okay.
Which it's at first I thought it was gonna be kind of the boonies, but it turns out it's a pretty popping area. They're hosting the League of Legends Spring Championships there.
Well, that's cool.
Are you gonna attend?
Or are you
Yeah,
gonna
I'll
play in it?
I wish I could play in it. of that skill level, I would probably not be a game developer in that case.
Wow,
But I'll definitely be attending.
that's so exciting. I'm so happy to hear that you're, making a move, and
Mm.
Gearbox is awesome. Well, if a PlayStation copy of Borderlands 3 or a PC copy of Borderlands 3 ever come across your desk, don't hesitate to send them our way because we'd love to play it with you.
Yeah, no problem.
Of course.
I'll be happy to play with you guys. So first-person shooters are my go-to genre actually. Overall, so it'd be exciting to go work on one.
Well, and how about next gen? So you're going to be, I'm guessing they're going to be working on something for the new systems.
Yeah, because they're both supposed to come out in the fall.
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
sure that the unnamed title that they're working on will be for the new generation. So
Right.
that's got to be exciting.
Yeah,
just to
I'm pretty
think
pumped for
about
that.
next gen. Yeah.
To work on some next, because all the stuff I've worked on in the past has all been PC or mobile. So it'd be nice to do some next gen console stuff.
Absolutely. That's exciting, man. We're happy for you.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
thank
sure.
you.
All right. Thanks so much for coming.
Yeah, no problem.
What are you guys talking about in here?
Find out next episode of Working Class Nerds.